Welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. Hope you're having a good Saturday morning. Lots of women talk about how hard it is to get a man to see their doctor. But how about when the problem is mental? Here to talk about that, Dr. Terry Timberlake. She is an adult mental health director with Georgia's Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And boy, this is a real topic that doesn't get a lot of attention, possibly because of the stigma for men. How do you get the attention of someone you think is having a depression or suicidal thoughts that's a man?
You're absolutely right. Stigma is a huge issue when it comes to mental health. Our society places a significant amount of stigma on seeking mental health services, talking about symptoms, and so because of that, men are less likely to seek mental health services. It's important to talk about the strength and the courage that it requires to be able to reach out and ask for help. We live in a society that is very challenging, and everyone experiences ups and downs, and so being able to normalize help seeking, being able to talk about asking for help as a success and not some sort of failure is one of the important factors in looking at how to encourage someone to seek mental health services.
From the day we are young men, whether we're playing football or baseball growing up, now some of this has changed now in modern times, but you were told if you had an issue in life, suck it up, deal with it, be a man. That is literally the line that's used. How do you address people in that situation now that have maybe come through those periods, gone to adulthood, and now having some depression issues?
It's very challenging. Men are encouraged to not show any signs of vulnerability, to not show any signs of anything that could potentially identify a problem. But it's important to continue to talk about the fact that life is full of ups and downs. Everyone experiences ups and downs, and to be able to talk about the full range of reactions that people have, not just some of the emotions that may be more comfortable. One of the emotions I think that's probably expressed most often in men is anger, and that sometimes is a cover-up for some of the other things that are happening. Sometimes anger is expressed when truthfully someone's experiencing some sadness or frustration or inadequacy in some areas of their life. But the anger becomes expressed, and that's what tends to become the focus when actually there may be some other things going on, particularly when it comes to the issue of depression. You often think about depression as someone who's very sad and crying a lot, but that's not often how it's
locked in
experienced.
A dark room, right?
Right. It's not often how it's experienced with men.
How is it experienced with men then?
You often see things like men feeling more lethargic, feeling like there's no interest in the kinds of activities that they generally used to experience and enjoy. Work performance tends to suffer sometimes. There often also are aches and pains that are experienced, more physical symptoms, and then of course more anger. So those are some of the things that you see a bit differently in men as opposed to women.
So how do you know if you've just had a really crappy month or two versus you're depressed and maybe you should seek some assistance?
Typically when you are experiencing some signs and some symptoms of a mental health issue, they're present most days for at least 2 months. So It's not just that you're feeling a little down, a little sad. It's the presence of those symptoms for the majority of the day, most days over a period of at least 8 weeks.
Is the all work and no play attitude of some men also causing a bit of an issue for that? That there's just not an outlet for whatever it is that they need to get rid of?
You know, not maintaining balance creates a significant amount of stress. Everyone needs to be able to have activities where they feel like they're engaged in something meaningful like work, but also engaged in something that's enjoyable and where they're able to connect with others and participate in activities that are more fun. Oftentimes when someone places too much focus on work, the stress of that tends to give rise to some other challenges that could potentially present with some other mental health issues. And so it's important to maintain a balance.
All right, so what do you do if you have a spouse or a loved one who appears to be having some of those symptoms and you want to talk to them, but they're not really open to that? What do you do?
Well, first it's important to approach the individual, your significant other, in a very honest manner, in a very honest conversation, and express to them that you've noticed some changes, you've noticed some things that are a bit different, and you wondered if they would like to talk about what may be going on. Being able to talk with them in a way that doesn't sound as though you're trying to be a therapist or a counselor. Offer to them some options. Talk about some of the things that they might be able to do, talking with a professional about some of the situations. And again, normalizing the fact that it's important to let others know when you need some help. That's a sign of strength, that's a sign of courage, and it's a part of life that everyone has ups and downs, and at different times it's important for us to be able to reach out and let someone know that we need some help.
And if you do need help, there is a hotline number on the bottom of your screen there. Tell us what people will get if they call that.
If you call the Georgia Crisis and Access line, you will be able to be connected with someone who can offer you referrals to counselors in the community. You'll be able to have an appointment and have a complete assessment, and that really is the beginning of getting help. Having a thorough assessment and being able to identify some of the symptoms so that you can then determine the appropriate course of support and services, what kind of therapy you might best benefit from.
All right, Dr. Timberlake, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we are answering some of your questions. The doctors will be, not me.